Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geekenders.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. How very, dramatic of you.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
I was gonna do an option up, but I thought then people's headphones and ears might hurt, so I optioned down. Down with a warble, you know?
Yeah, as one would do.
Absolutely.
That's why you're a professional host, and I am also here. I remember there was a time where you would host things all that you would be hey everyone, here I am live at the Playboy Mansion. I did a lot of
that, dude. I did a lot of that.
Not me.
Good times.
Every time I do it, I'm terrible. I forget what I want to say. I don't remember half the things I'm trying to do. And then everyone afterwards is like, great job. And I'm like, don't lie to me. Don't. Just.
I think we're harsher on ourselves, though. The last couple of hosting things I've done, I've been up here about everything that I did wrong. But everyone that I worked with is like, you were great. You were so professional. Humble brag, I guess. But but you know, you just get in your head about stuff. Because the imaginary you that you were thinking about before you did the hosting gig was so good.
The imaginary me is definitely coming out there. People are cheering. They love what I'm doing. And then real hosting gigs, no one's cheering. No one's there to see you. They don't care about you. They're like, get the person we want to see out quickly.
Oh my gosh. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far away, there was a little business called Polaris. And
that little tiny business.
That tiny little business. They were looking for somebody to do red carpet interviews for a thing.
I remember that. Yeah.
And they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I was like, I don't think so, because I don't know how I would feel about meeting these actors and actresses who will just look dead behind the eyes like, awesome, another interview to do on this red carpet. I was like, I don't know if I want to have that be my hosting experience on the red carpet, to just be like, hi, yeah, I'd like to ask you the same questions you've been asked a lot. I hope you're having a good night. You look great, you know?
Yeah. I realize that the best thing I can do is just talk to people I already know.
Sure.
Because the barrier is gone and I'm much more comfortable. And as long as we have a frame of reference, a point to connect on, I'm good. But if I don't know where to reach you, I don't know how to reach you.
Right.
I literally I'm not one of those people who Alex, a very good friend of ours, he can talk to any person about anything at any point in time. I cannot
literally
do that. I simply can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot do that. It is a talent that I do not possess. And I feel terrible when people ask me to do something and I'm like, are you sure you want this? And they're like, yeah, you'll be great. And I'm like, these guys have no clue. I'm going to get there and be like, somebody help me. Yeah. Not good at it.
Yeah. I used to have, I had an interview show called Dodge This on old Game Station.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. It was amazing. The intro was like a weird mashed together Matrix scene with my head on top
with
of
your
Trinity's.
head on. Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
You went like,
it was. Dodge this. Yeah, it was great. Anyways, we really cooked with intros only. But every single one of those interviews that I had to do, I was up all night before the interview, like stressing about doing it. Because there are people that are just so good at interviewing, and I feel like I would get gummed up so quickly.
There is so. I saw over here, Jesse, learn to take a compliment. Here's the thing. I can't. I never have been. I cannot do it. Anyway, I don't celebrate birthdays because I'm already weirded out by the fact that people are like, happy birthday. I think that's like gets me weird. I don't like people saying good job, even though it's definitely a thing I need to hear. And I like when it happens, but not directly to me in real life. I'm like, right. I think you're lying. Like, I don't handle it well. But even more, I have this weird thing. Well, so we were just talking about this before when I was doing like a pre-show thing. So there's a Whole Foods next to my apartment complex, and I'll go over there every once in a while and get a sandwich. And sometimes there's this guy, Philippe, shout out to my boy Philippe. He makes it perfect, like the best sandwich in the world. I get an Italian sandwich, and he'll put like the olive oil on the bread, then toast it. I'm like, oh my God. But other people, they'll just put the sandwich together and pour the olive. I'm like, I don't want it that way. But I never say anything. Not once. I'll never bring it up, and I just won't. That's the same way I am. I remember one time I was doing an interview, and it was like, talking to people at an event. And the people there were like, hey, this girl is one of our favorite like cosplayers or whatever, and she's going to come up and talk to you. And I was like, okay. They didn't tell me her name. They didn't tell me a damn thing about her. And I did not ask. So the entire time I'm having an interview with someone while actively not trying to say her name. Because I don't know this person, and I'm not going to ask on camera what her name is. It was horrific. It was I could have, like an adult, just been like, oh, hi. But she thought I knew her.
Right.
And so it made it even more awkward. She's like, oh my God, Jesse, so nice to see you. And I'm like, it is wonderful to see you too. I literally could have said, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but that would have been embarrassing for me. And I was like, no, I'm just going to keep this going. So instead it made it more embarrassing for me because that is the world I live in.
Right. Was it like a filmed thing?
Yes. I think it might be out there somewhere. But yeah, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be like, hey, go look at it. You're out of your mind if you think I'm gonna be like, go check it out.
I was gonna say, I feel like if you're in a setting where like something's getting filmed, an easy workaround maybe is to be like,
introduce yourself.
Why don't you tell the camera who you are and what you do?
I understand completely. And this is what happened. I said, why don't you tell the camera who you are? And she said her character name that she was cosplaying.
No! And you were like, well, pack it up, boys.
I tried. Look, I tried.
I'm out. I'm dead now. Oh my goodness. That's actually amazing.
It was.
You knew the hack, and she somehow unhacked
she was like, I'm not going to play along with you. I just couldn't. It was a non-win situation. And the entire time was like, hopefully she'll just talk through this entire thing. And thankfully she did. But honest to God, I was just like, I can't. I'm not made for this. Yeah. I've never been a studier. So when you're like, oh, I was up all night. Me, I'm like, I'll wing it tomorrow. I just can't. I'm not made for that.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I'm just not built that way.
Do you think that, is that what she thought you were asking, is like, who are you cosplaying as? Or I think
that's what she thought, but I just said, tell us who you are. I was like, can you tell us who you are for the camera or whatever the hell I said? And she was like, yeah, and then just said her character name.
I see.
Like, here's the thing, even more embarrassing. It was almost like I didn't know the character, which hurt me because I was like, I definitely know who you're supposed to be. Right. But now it looks like on camera, I'm like, I'm here for this and I don't know what this is. You know what I mean? Right. So even then I'm like, it's only getting worse. I'm only more embarrassed.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends who do like princess parties or like character parties for little kids. And
in the UK?
No, in LA.
It's Kristen, right? It's always Kristen.
No.
Kristen Delgado, famous princess party. Yes.
Kristen dresses up as a princess and role plays as a princess at parties.
Yes.
Okay, I'll believe you. That's not who I meant, though. So, for those of you who don't have children in your life at all or whatever,
you mean the happy people? Yes. Happy people, listen closely.
One of the birthday party options that you can get is basically cosplayers who will pretend to be princesses, superheroes, whatever, and then they come to the birthday and they do activities with the kids.
I've seen the videos online.
Take pictures, and so it's very cute.
Spider-Man fights Batman. Yeah.
It's very, very cute. So, I was talking about this with one of my friends who used to do a lot of Elsa parties, and she was saying the number of times that parents would come up to her while she was still surrounded by kids and try to have a conversation with her not as Elsa. And so she'd have to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Elsa, trying to get it across to them. I'm not going to break character in front of the children, So that's why I was asking, did it feel like she was just deeply in character on camera for some reason, or it was just a misunderstanding?
No. Okay. She wasn't in character at all. She was herself. She just literally was like, I'm the character. And I was like, cool. All right, great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not a fan. It's why when people ask me to do that, I automatically turn them down now. I'm like, is there anything else I can do? Literally, I know you want to give me money to do this, but I promise you, I will feel bad for ruining your thing. So please do not do this to me. I really want to help you, just not in that way.
I can't help but keep thinking about this weird through line of I hate when people I know and in person give me compliments, but also I love when a person who doesn't know me that does ASMR gives me compliments.
Oh, there's a line specifically
here.
Talking about the fact that I think it's weird when people in real life tell me I do a good job and I don't believe them, yet for some reason a random ASMR person is like, good job. And I'm like, yeah.
I love this.
That's because they don't mean it. That's because I know they don't mean it, and I know they're just saying it.
It feels
and the
detached
word
enough
is nice.
that you can just enjoy it.
Yeah, they don't mean that. They're just saying a thing, and I'm like, this is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, if I did something and someone said that was good enough, I would believe them. Good enough is exactly right. You know what? I believe that.
Yeah. It's kind of like happy and sad are extremes, and the normal place to be is in the middle.
New Monster Prom coming down the line. I'm voicing one of the main characters this time, and I'm like, all right, if you think it's good.
That's me every time I voice act, though. Literally every time I do any voice acting and I submit it, if they're like, yeah, we're happy with it, I'm like, are you? Are you, though? Okay.
Oh, my God.
Are you sure?
So this company was like, hey, we want you to voice a character in our game. I was like, I would love to. Mm-hmm. So I get on the call with them. We do the voice. But the session's going long because it's a lot of voice lines. And so they're like, hey, we'll come back. We'll do the next session later. It has been 4 months. I was like, either they hated what I did or they are caught up in other stuff. So I'm not trying to overthink it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And it's weird because it's literally just my own voice. It's not like I did a gosh, I'm a character. Literally, it's just me, which makes it even worse. I'm like, oh boy. But yeah, I recorded for 2 or 3 hours. Here's the thing though. We'll see. The game is far from being done, so I'm not too stressed, but yikes. I hate that kind of thing because it makes me immediately be like, yeah, I suck.
I'm just forever haunted by Awesome Knots, I think.
Why is that?
Because we all did voices for Awesome Knots, you, me, and TB. I struggled so much doing my Awesome Knots voice recording. We had to redo it so many times, and in the end, people, when they put out the video that was like, we've got a new character voiced by this person, if you go and look, feel free. The voice acting was not great, but like all of the comments are like, ew. And so I will forever, anytime I record my voice for something, be like, is it though? Or is it, ew? Is it okay? Or is it, ew? You know?
I was fortunate that I got to be a little worm guy.
Yeah.
So I just was like, yes, this is my voice. And it worked great.
They loved it. People loved it. I needed to be like a sultry cowgirl type of thing. And it was rough going.
Give me what's your sultry cowgirl?
Oh gosh. What do you want me to say? Give me a line.
Come on, y'all. What's your sultry? Can you get a little southern flair?
But give me a line. Give me a line reading.
Here's your line reading.
Yeah.
Let's wrestle up some doggies.
Okay. Let's wrestle up some doggies.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I had to redo those lines like 18 times, dude.
Nah. I
really struggled.
It's so funny. I don't know what it is. When I'm at home with a microphone trying to do voiceover stuff, even for like videos and things I edit, it will take me hours to get it right. I go into a recording studio booth. Yeah. I'm like Johnny One and Done. I don't know what it is.
There's something different. In the booth. Same. There's something different about being in a booth because I'm the same with songs, recording songs. There was one time that I was doing a thing for Hi, I'm Ron, like forever ago. And they were like, we really want you to come into the booth for this. And I was like, oh my gosh, that seems so official, but sure. And I went in there, I literally recorded myself singing once and they were like, I think we got it. I was like, I came all the way in. Okay. If you're sure. Yeah. Okay.
For Awesome Knots, I was in the EU at the time. And they were like, do you want to come to the studio? I was like, yeah. Went to the studio, pounded it. The trip getting there took longer than the recording session. I went there and nailed it and was like, you guys want to get dinner? They're like, yeah, all right. Felt really good about it. That was the one time I was like, holy shit. I think I could do this for real again. By the way, I did for much of my college actually have an agent and audition for stuff. Only landed one job. So doesn't mean I'm good. But when I get it, when I nail it, I can nail it. And I feel really good about that. However, I definitely don't believe it. I don't when it happens and I nail it, I know I did. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, I feel like that wasn't very good. But a great example is in Cyberpunk. I went in there and those dudes were like, all right, so here's the deal. Imagine your penis is in a pencil sharpener. And I was like, gentlemen, when I was young, I was hitting the dick with a tennis ball. Trust me, I understand the pain. We're good. And so I just did it, and they were like, that was hilarious. And I was like, I'm aware. When I nail it, I nail it. But when I don't, if I feel like I could do it better, I always want to keep doing it. And they'll just be like, no, it's good. And I'm like, no, I could do better. And they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, but I could do better. No. And I hate that. It drives me crazy, which is why I think when I'm at home or at the studio, the office, I will do the same take 15 times to make sure I get it right the way I think it should be in my head. And that's you'll notice that I have a lot of, if you watch the shameless plug to the Final Fantasy XIV video that we just released, you'll notice there's moments where I'm little inflections here and there where it takes me a while to get exactly what I want it to be. Because there's pauses and things that I want to say and do. And even at the end, I'm still that wasn't perfect, but I got a time thing, so I got to go. Which is probably what the people in the studio are thinking. Yeah. But I'm I really want to nail this.
Yeah. Also, shout out to having a good director as well. I think that's another big part of being in the booth with a director to
sure.
talk you through it ahead of time and really get the vibe before you even record. It makes a huge difference.
When I voice direct stuff for various projects, I have no problem being this is the line, this is what we want it to sound like. Mm-hmm. And I know
you voice directed me before.
Yeah. I'm I understand you have a lot of things you want to do and you have a lot of takes in your mind, but this is the scene and this is what's going on. And I absolutely hate when people are like, just give us a few takes. Like, no, you know what you want. Just tell me what you want. Let me do it. And I'll do it. Mm-hmm. You just want my voice. I'll say it how you want me to say it. Just tell me what you want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love, this is my favorite part about this conversation is not at all professional voice actors, Jesse and Dodger, talk about not at all professional voice acting.
That's so true. Yeah.
Do not take anything we say as like canon to the world of voice acting. Oh my
gosh. Please don't think that anything we're saying applies to like actual, like consistently working voice actors.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just the two of us being like, this is our preferences.
I know. We should get Octo back on at some point and be like, talk to us about what it's like to be like a consistently working voice actor.
I mean, if I had to guess, I bet his entire thing would be you submit so many auditions and you never hear back from, like, honestly, one of the biggest reasons I couldn't handle voice acting as like a profession, like doing it for fun is great. Yeah. But doing an audition for a voice and then seeing the thing that they went with, like the voice they went with and the product and being like, I hate that. I couldn't handle it. I became such a catty bitch. I was better. Like, yeah. I was like, I would have done better. Yeah. And so it means you can't enjoy things. Like I remember one time when I was like, I don't know, 21, I did an ad read for a car commercial and it was my audition. And then when I saw it on TV, I was like, that's the voice trash. And it's like, I can't be this guy. I was so catty. I was like, ugh. No,
but like,
can't do that.
On some level, maybe that makes you feel better, you know?
Oh, it definitely did. I was definitely hurt by the fact that again, for 4 years, I auditioned I got one job. Yeah. So just saying, it doesn't mean I'm good. I, in fact, don't think I'm a good voice actor at all. I'm much better.
We've fallen into a lot of things.
Yeah.
We're very much, we know the right people, sort of voice actors, or we're in the right place associated with the right thing. Or you just make
your own game.
Or you make your own game. Absolutely.
Or you just do your own thing and people have to cast you.
Or you Felicia Day it. Yeah. And you go, I'm just going to make my own show.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It works.
And it worked. Yep.
I don't even know how we got here. But I like it.
I think we were talking about taking compliments and believing that we've done a good job.
I still don't. I don't even believe that was a good conversation. So like,
there's a little Jesse in the back of your head that's like, move on. Honestly, you got to move on.
I swear to God, that's not even a joke. The minute we were like, yep, and there was like a brief second of no talking, the back of my head was like, keep it moving, asshole. Keep it moving. That's dead air. You got to keep it moving.
This is a podcast, idiot. Say something.
Oh, yeah. Don't you worry. It was back there. Like, that was exactly 3 seconds of silence. You are trash. Gosh. This show is trash. You suck, Jesse. Oh, yeah. It was there.
Can we give a shout out to during pre-show, there was a point where I wasn't saying anything because I was setting stuff up and Jesse was typing and a poor sweet soul in chat was like, dead air. What's going on? What's happening with this podcast? And I was like, oh my gosh, this poor person thinks that this is what our podcast is like.
I actively stress about dead air. It's a thing. If you hear me talking just to talk, that's why.
Yeah.
It is a professional thing where I'm like, it drives me crazy. Look, I love your husband, Sam. He's a sweet, sweet boy. But the amount of time he sits there in silence makes me insane. I'm like,
when he's streaming, do you mean?
Yes. Yeah. And he'll just stream and be there quiet playing. And I'm like, I'd go crazy.
Do you just constantly talk while you're streaming?
Most of the time, unless, so for example is yesterday I was doing the new Final Fantasy 14 raids, which by the way, are so much fun. Like genuinely so much fun. And the third one of them, everyone in chat was like, over under how many times he dies in this fight. This fight's so hard, over under. And I saw everyone talking about it and I literally was like, so be it, Jedi. F this. I did not talk. I focused entirely. Everyone chats like, yo, he's in the zone. Didn't die once. I was like, this. And after it was done, people were like, man, you were really into it. I was like, only to spite you. Let's be very clear. I saw you all saying I would die a bunch. And the reason I die a bunch is because I'm talking to chat instead of playing the damn game. So I locked in and was like, screw y'all, I'm going to win. But other than that, this is it. I talk constantly, which is why at the end of like, I don't know, if I do a 6, 7, 8 hour stream, my voice is like, hello, what else? Which is why I try not to.
Yes. I get asked to do visual novels a lot, which is great. And I love them. But streaming visual novels is so different from filming and recording visual novels because when you have that vocal strain, you can just be like, no skin off my back. I'll just take a break. When you're streaming, you feel like, well, I'm only going to be streaming for another couple of hours. I should just push through and like keep playing those couple of hours and then I'll rest after. And it winds up being much more, I still have a lot of fun with them, but it winds up being much more exhausting.
I mean,
because you want to do something like a unique, fun thing for every character. And sometimes I'll fuck up and be like, I bet this guy is barely going to be in this game and they've got a voice like this. And then I have to do that for like an hour straight because it turns out they have a whole backstory monologue that they're going to do. And I'm like, no!
I cannot stress to you, I'm on the same page. Any visual novel, anything that is like a lot of reading, when they hire voice actors to do it for you, it's a blessing. I'm so...
Yes.
I cannot stress how happy that makes me to get to sit there silently and just let the story unfurl. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I make the same mistake. Even in the Final Fantasy 14 patch that came out this week. Every character has a different voice. And I'm trying my hardest to do those voices because, I've never heard them speak before. So I'm like, all right. And straight up just like, the corn servant, who's a little tiny corn boy, I gave him an Antonio Banderas voice, so I gotta do that. And then the nerdy characters, like, you gotta do that voice.
Of course.
And then, so I'm doing all these voices, and up, down, big. By the end, I'm like, I guess I'm done. At the end of the stream yesterday, I streamed like 4 hours. At the end, I was like, guys, I need water. We gotta stop.
Yeah.
No. I hate that.
Yeah. It's hard because I enjoy doing the voices, but I am always relieved if I'm about to play something and I'm like, how long is this? Oh, but they've got voices. I don't care how long it is. I don't care. Let's go.
I have been thinking that instead of doing long streams every so many days, because I don't stream every day, doing like little short boys every day.
Yeah. Like
in the morning when I get into the office, just doing like 2 hours and calling it a life, getting through things so I can actually do it and be like, I'm 100% in instead of 100% in for 2 hours and then slowly dying the rest of the time.
Right. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Sam and I talk about that a lot.
But it's like,
because Sam is like a fucking, marathon sprinter with every stream that he does. And he's, for years now, we've been talking about like, really, how good is the retention of viewership after 5 hours? It for the most part, it doesn't go very far up after that. So like, you can do like a really good 5 hour stream and then chill, instead of being like, I'm going to do 12 hours and then I'm going to hate myself.
I feel like I first off understand where you're coming from because I definitely am like, after a while, it's less about doing it for an audience and more about for me. And I kind of understand where Sam's coming from because if there's a new game and it's a game that I want to play, but I've decided to play it on stream, I now feel completely beholden to do it on stream. And so my biggest problem is I'll start a game, play it, and then, another game came out, so I'm going to play that on stream. Now I've got a backlog of games I want to play on stream that I could just play on my own time by myself, but I feel beholden to an audience to keep that going. And so now a backlog builds and it gets crazier and crazier. And if I just plow through it like Sam, I'm done with it and I can move on. And I understand where he's coming from. I don't have at all the fortitude to do that. That man is existing on another level. But like, I understand it, but it's just, it's a whole thing. There's a lot of factors to consider. But I do get the idea that after a certain point, like no matter what, even just normal streams, you see it like trend up and then slowly piddle off over time.
Yeah.
Every time. And so it's like, yeah, people after a while, like, I got shit to do. I can't just watch you all day. Some of you can, and to which I say, thank you.
Thank you
You're
very
the heroes.
much. I
We love you.
appreciate those of you who stick around for a whole stream so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of times people will move on to watch somebody else do something else. 5 hours is a decent chunk of a person's day. Mm-hmm. And it's a decent chunk of your day as the streamer. So,
yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to come up with a better way to do it. Except every time I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Then a bunch of nonsense comes up and I'm like, okay, got to do. I mean, it's what happens when you manage, while you have a real baby, I have my digital babies. Right. I spend a lot of time managing a lot of plates are in the air. So I have to like jump on calls and do a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I could be streaming right now. No. All right. I gotta be an adult. All right.
There's only so many hours in the day. Have you ever seen this video? Have you ever seen the video of the guy who's like, my first day goes from 6 a.m. to noon. That's one day done. And then my second day is from noon to 6 p.m. That's day 2. Done. Then my third day is 6 p.m. to midnight. That's 3 days for your one day. Have you seen that video before?
Not only have I seen that video,
it's incredible.
I've watched it so many times trying to figure out exactly what he means because it's insane. It's like when oh my god, who was the first guy in what is that dude's name? Oh my god, the guy from Iron Man who was like, I've developed new math, and I'm like, what? And I actively tried to figure out what he meant, and it's nonsense. I was like, oh no, you're just a crazy person. Same thing with 24-hour guy.
I assumed that what he was, oh my God. I assumed that what he was trying to say was that most people in a full day get done what he gets done in about 6 hours. And so he tries to micromanage his day to the point that he gets basically 3 times as much shit done in a day.
I mean, I understand the implication.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like he's having it sounds like he's unbearable, is what I'm trying to say.
I completely agree. Especially because in the video, at a certain point, he's like, and now what have I done? I've messed with time. I'm just like, what is this man on? What is he smoking? I have to know.
My new favorite one is the most recent one, where it's the guy and he pulls the tape off of his mouth and he dunks his face in the water. Yes. Like, that one's amazing, but I love the internet's just roasting him so hard because now everyone's doing their own version.
Did you see his follow-up video?
No. Oh
my God. He made a video where he was like, I guess this is just what it means to be a trendsetter. Everybody's copying me now, copying my routine. And everyone in the comments was like, does he not understand? Does he not understand that we're making fun of him? It's incredible.
It does feel a little bit like American Psycho. It feels a little strange.
It's a little
like, dude, are you gonna kill a person?
Yeah.
My favorite one that I've seen is there's an old lady, like a grandma, who does it. She wakes up, she pulls off the tape, she pours vodka in the thing, dunks her head in, but it like progressively gets crazier. She's shooting a gun by the end.
Yes, it's the best one. It's amazing. She's like in a copter.
She's lifting weights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love the granny one. That's very funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be very hard to beat that one, to be honest.
It's just, it makes me realize that it's the same level of engagement farming as I'm gonna go to a forest where people hang themselves. Like that kind, like it doesn't feel right. And I'm glad people are calling people out on the fact that it's insane. Like it's like you've crossed a line from normal internet use to like, oh no, you're like a creep. Like you're genuinely a very strange person, and I'm glad people are calling them out on it, because sometimes you got to be like, dude, I know you think you're cool. This is not cool. This is weird.
We were gonna get there eventually, though, right? Because we have so much content coming out that's like like alpha male sigma mewing bullshit, right?
Yeah,
like eventually we were gonna get these like what I do in a days that make no fucking sense and are just like micromanaging time to the point that it's so unhealthy. And I'm so glad that people are pointing out like that the time signatures he puts in that video make no fucking sense. It's like, nope, what do you mean? Like it doesn't make any sense how much time you're saying these things take.
Yeah, there was a couple, they posted their like life in Dubai video. And she like this woman wakes up, puts on her makeup, gets back into bed, wakes the husband up, so she looks beautiful when he wakes up. Right. Then she wakes, it's like 4:35 a.m. Then she wakes her kids up and they do like, it's like for 45 minutes, the husband and wife stare at each other on a balcony. I'm like, what the shit is, like, this is insane. I know you think this is like it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I'm fully convinced that the internet reached a like saturation level where people must continue, like every aspect of it, you know, like how there's different niches on the internet. Every niche has hit that point where that you must go above and beyond. ASMR, I was talking about this with Crendor on the last Cox and Crendor, and it made me laugh so hard. I watched sometimes I'll watch this thing, it's unintentional ASMR, where it's just like old weird videos, and I'll put it on while I go to bed. And I watched one that was this guy trying to sell you his gemstones at his gemstone place. Okay. And he was like, we got a lot of beautiful gemstone necklaces. And it's an hour and a half of him just being like, I'm going to sell you these gemstones. Like this fine gemstone.
He's a different font of Crendor.
Yes. And so I put him on, loved it. But because I put it on like 5 or 6 nights in a row, because I didn't listen to all of it, right? Because I like fell asleep. I would put it back on to start where I was before. And I guess because I listened to that, it started giving me weird ASMR. And so I started going through it and I realized, oh my God, ASMR has now gotten to the point where they have to do crazy things to get views. Because you can't just snap your fingers and say stuff anymore. You have to like get crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
And so the ones I got, Crendor thought it was going to be like, I'm slowly undressing you, or I'm your girlfriend, which by the way, they definitely exist. And those are things. The ones I got were like, I kidnap you. I'm your girlfriend and I beat up this girl who likes you. One was like, they're just genuinely insane. One was Lord Farquaad does your nails or something. It had 26 million views. They were, I don't remember all of them, but I listed a bunch for Crendor. If you want to go listen to that, it's so funny. They are just insane. Like they literally are crazy to an extent that I was not expecting.
Right.
Like they're just what? And I get it. After a while, you have to keep doing more and more. And if you don't, your numbers fall off. It's just the way the internet is. And I can't believe that's. It blew my mind. I was like, this is incredible to me that's where we're at. Right. And it's not just YouTube, it's all of social media. If you want to get people to look at your stuff, you have to say the most insane thing you can think of. And even if it gets people to hate you, you got views, and that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's the algorithm at work, dude. It's trying to figure you out now. It's like, is this guy into the voice or into the gems? I don't know.
It was weird. It was very weird. Although I still love that gem video because the guy's like, this gemstone necklace was crafted by Phil somebody, and he's a famed gem crafter. I swear to God, it's literally just like a rope wrapped around like a crappy looking gem. I couldn't believe it. I was like, a man it just looks like he tied a rope to an already existing gemstone. There's no like
that's art.
It's like one of them in a gem is like this. It's like this big. It's huge. I was like, who would wear that? It's a giant stone around your neck. Why would you do that? I don't know.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh. I mean, I think you're right that unfortunately that's just the way that things work, right? Is that viewers get desensitized At first they're like, oh, this is new and interesting. And then they get desensitized to that new interesting thing. And if that new interesting thing becomes popular, then there's a lot of it. And then they get more desensitized. And then it's like, okay, well, how can I take this thing people like, but don't really care about that much anymore and make it interesting again? I have to either make it super weird, or I have to use it in like a different type of content.
Yeah, there's I think it was over COVID. There was this girl who I started watching who did like React. She's like, yeah, I never really watched movies. She was very like Mathis and Crendor coded, where she's like, I don't watch movies at all. So I'm going to do this channel where I start watching movies. It's COVID, so I'm going to do this. And it was so sweet because she clearly really never watched movies before. Yeah. So watching her watch popular movies was so nice. And at a certain point, I think she hired an editor and a whole team because she was like getting views.
Yeah.
And the videos of hers that got the most views were the ones where she was like bawling her eyes out, crying about this movie. And now that's all she makes. And now it's like really polished and really well edited. And I'm like, nah, this is trash. I hate this. I hate this now. You've ruined it. You've ruined it. It used to be innocent and sweet. And now it's like not fun anymore.
Does she still get good viewership?
Yeah. Like it's fine. Because the React community is also, it feeds on itself. So there are React videos where like, like imagine the new Marvel movie came out and they're like, hey, everyone watch this new Marvel movie React thing. But then dudes, there's this one guy, I think he's like in India. He'll steal all the React videos and make his own React video and put himself in the corner reacting to their reactions. And it's like next level meta, but he doesn't talk or anything. He just sits there. So he can say it's his video. Dude. Blows my mind you can get away with that.
I keep on YouTube, in YouTube Shorts, that is rife. So many times I'll see a video and be like, who is this? And I'll realize it's the same fucking React channel every time. And their picture is like this big up in the corner. And they just sit there. And I'm like, what the shit is this? I hate this. Yeah.
Yeah, not a fan of that. Like, it clearly is a different ecosystem than when you and I started doing it.
Absolutely.
And it's so very obvious to me.
Our opinions are antiquated, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't understand it. I will struggle to get my own views on YouTube. And I'm like, hey, obviously I'm working from now I'm the old guy on YouTube, so I'm not getting any young people. They don't give a shit what I care about. And everyone I do have watching are people that have always watched. And very few times is someone brand new like, hey, I like your stuff. It really comes down to like, I made a Final Fantasy 14 video, and thank God Final Fantasy 14 people are into Final Fantasy 14, but it's not really about Jesse, right? And so it's interesting because I'm clearly on the way out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can keep doing it, but like an old actor who used to be like, I was a Broadway star. That's how I feel a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, everyone kind of, when I go places, everyone's like, oh my God, Jesse, I used to watch you all the time. And I'm like, thank you. Thanks so much. But it isn't like, I watch you all the time, dude. It's always, I used to watch you. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Like, thank you. Thank you for the time you gave me. But it's definitely, that's what it feels like. And so I'm not too stressed about it. Yeah. Like I'm sure a lot of people will be like, I've got to figure out what to do to make content to get. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm very grateful that I have like some grounded to reality friends who are like, do you want to play a video game with me? I was like, I would love to. Yeah. That would be so much fun. I'm very thankful. But yeah, it's definitely a different experience altogether. YouTube as a platform has changed. Everything about it has changed. I mean, like one thing that I know that I'm totally screwed on is I've been doing it so long, and this is probably a case for you as well. I found this out and it is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTubers, when they will tell their audience, hey, if you aren't watching me, unsubscribe. And the reason why is because if you have, let's say, 1 million subscribers, but only 10% of your audience watches, the algorithm at YouTube is like, dead channel. And so it stops sending. So if you whittle your number down, so let's say you're like, fine, I don't want 1 million anymore. I want 500,000. It'll actually be better for you.
Interesting.
Yep. So by having higher numbers with less views, you hurt yourself.
Right.
And so having done it for 15 years, there's just people that don't even use YouTube anymore that are still subbed to me.
Yeah.
That are just dead accounts and they don't watch. And so YouTube's like, trash channel. No, there's literally nothing I can do. I'm not going to lie. I don't want any of you to unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. Stay there. Stay there. It makes me feel good.
You worked so hard for that Millie, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody leave. Shut the door.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm is a mess, but it is not about you. It's about money and YouTube. So I'm not stressed about it. I don't care. But it is a different beast. Like what my point is, it's a different beast. And now it's very clear that we're not like in on it right now.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think about YouTube videos that I'd like to make all the time. Keep in mind, listeners, viewers, I haven't made a specifically for YouTube video in about 6 years, like since I had my kid, right? And I still think about videos that I'd like to make, but a lot of times they are things where I'm like, I don't even know if that would do well anymore. You know, sure. I have no idea. I'm going to tell you something.
I'm going to tell you something that is the truth that you just need to understand. It most likely won't do well. It'll probably bomb like shit. Do it for yourself. That's it.
Just for funsies.
Honest to God, just do it for yourself. Make the video, because no matter what, algorithmically, because you haven't made content, it's going to be like, I saw someone in chat say, you know, sometimes they don't get stuff sent to me. Truth be told, part of that is on you. When you don't watch things, if like I don't watch Dodger's channel, YouTube will never send me Dodger content ever again.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. And it's not a dig at you for not watching, or, you know, in this case, me for not watching Dodger's channel. It's literally just what the algorithm is. So if you're not getting videos, it's because you aren't watching it. And YouTube's like, well, we'll send you other things instead. Yeah. Even if you're like, I love Dodger's content, and when she makes a video that I want to watch, I'm going to watch it. Well, yeah. But it's not going to send it to you. You're going to have to find it yourself.
It's going to look at the stuff that you have been watching and be like, have more of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, what are you going to do?
It sucks. We're at the mercy of the machines, dude.
Yeah. So literally just make it for yourself. And if it blows up and is great, awesome. If no one watches it, whatever. Like I put in weeks of work on this Final Fantasy XIV video and then missed my deadline where people would actually watch it and then just put it out. And the views are so much lower than all the other ones. And I'm like, I don't care. Like I did a thing, I made the content, I produced it, and it exists. And if people want to watch it, it's there. And I just don't care anymore. It's not going to be the end of me. Like I'm fine. But it's one of those things that is definitely a thing that I think a lot of people who are actively in it, who haven't been burnt out for 10 years, you know what I mean? Who are like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
They are the ones stressing about like, I need to make more stuff and I'm going to make this weird, crazy video, right? I get it. You're young, you're hungry. God bless. Go for it. But like, understand the whole thing's a shit show. At any moment, the whole thing could collapse in on itself. So like, be prepared.
Absolutely. It has always been one of those jobs where all of us are just like, don't know how long this is going to last, you know?
Yep.
And that might sound like a really scary way to live your life and your career, but like it's also kind of healthy with a job like this because so many variables are outside of your control.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's one of those things, you know, shout out to our boy TB, put those eggs in different baskets.
100%.
Big advocate everywhere
for diversifying.
Yeah, because stuff will end. It just happens. And there's not much you can do about it. Like, YouTube's a different beast. And so I stream, I produce games, I podcast. I literally do something different every single day. That's a different thing. Just because I'm like, one day, one of these things is crashing. So I got to jump ship and get to something else. And I will have that life raft waiting for me.
Right.
I'm not even stressed about it. I'm like, I don't even care if one thing doesn't work out because I got 8 other things going on. I'm good, baby.
Yeah. But it took a lot of time to put those eggs in those baskets.
15 years. Yeah.
Like it wasn't like you had 1 year where you were like, I'm going to start doing a bunch of different shit. Like you've slowly over time dipped into other things and figured out, you know, how much or how little you want to be involved and invested in them.
Too much is the answer.
It's good to start. The point is, it's good to start thinking about that stuff as soon as you can, you know?
Yeah. I mean, anytime that there's a thing that Twitch says or YouTube says or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, they're ruining everything. All I think is like, yeah, I mean, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. All companies eventually screw themselves over trying to make a buck, and then it collapses. That's just capitalism, baby. They don't last forever.
But this is also, I feel like sometimes when younger people are like, oh, I really want to be a YouTuber, and older YouTubers like Jesse and I will be like, oh, don't say that. We're not saying it because we're like, don't threaten us. Don't come in here and take our viewership. It's because we know how rocky this ship is. Like, oh, bless. If you dip into it, please don't go whole hog, because like, it's just, it's rough out here, dude.
I mean, if you can afford to take the chance, go for it.
Yeah.
But like, if this is one of those things where I'm gonna do it for fun and see what happens, like, great, love that for you. Don't expect much. There's so many people doing the exact same thing right now that like, you have to do it for fun. You have to do it because you love it. Don't expect it to be your job. If it becomes your job, awesome. You're killing it. But like, don't expect it. People see it and they think that's what I'm gonna do. That's the life I'm gonna live. I'm gonna be a streamer, a YouTuber, and be famous. You most likely will not. Like, I don't want to be a dick about it, but there's so many people online making content that no one knows about.
Way more than when we started, dude.
So many.
Way more than when we started. It's so much more saturated than when Jesse and I hopped on. It's just a different animal now.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's just so many people, especially in the gaming space. Dear God. There's just so many gaming creators, be it streamers or whatever. And I know everyone's like, well, what's the secret? Yo, there's no secret. Don't let people tell you. Consistency is like the baseline of what you can do. But the secret is be in the right place at the right time. Other than that, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, even I wish people would be like, well, talent, you have to have this. I see people who are famous that got zero talent. They were just there at the right place at the right time. And
people that are very talented that just don't have the right eyeballs on them. Or you're like, this person's content is awesome. Why is no one watching it? Yeah. It both ways can happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I remember YouTube posted a thing on Twitter, I don't know, maybe like a year ago. And they were like, who is your favorite YouTuber? And they listed all these people. And I responded like, I said, who is the best YouTuber? And I responded like, the best YouTuber is definitely not one of these people here. It's some guy you've never heard of before that has like 5 views and is putting out the best content that ever existed. Like, absolutely, that's the case. There are definitely people out there that are doing it for fun. And they're creating amazing content. And those people really should be the success stories. They're just not. Because it's all just place and time.
Yeah.
We were place and time. You know how we became successful? I'm gonna let you know a secret.
We knew Total Biscuit.
Yeah, we knew Total Biscuit. We at the time were on his podcast, and he was popular. So we rode his coattails to success. You want to know the secret? That's it. I hate to break it to you. That's what happened.
Yeah. We all joined the same network, and he wanted to start a podcast and asked us to join him. And now here we are. So
that was it. Yeah.
We were doing all right, but like the podcast helped a ton for both of us.
And admittedly, we had our own thing, but our own thing wasn't huge.
Yeah.
Like, I think the reason why he pulled us is, one, we didn't piss him off. And two, I was doing Warcraft content with him on the side, not like with him, but like on the same channels and stuff he was on. And you were doing gaming news content.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was like, that's a great like, Jesse and I get along. And Dodger is like,
Dodger does news. Let's.
Yeah. And it's like, that is our team. And absolutely, that's what happened. And after that, you and I like blew up exponentially because of that. And that is, I will, you know, I'm not going to lie to people and be like, well, you know, it was a lot of work. I did a lot. Like, no, I showed up on a podcast and sometimes be like, TB, I think you're full of shit. And you'd be like, explain your reasoning. And I'll be like, I have no reasoning. And that was the episode. Like, that
was it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I got called a cashew chicken eating motherfucker by one of you. You?
I can't believe TB said that to you.
I can't believe TDB said that to me. Rest in peace.
Damn. Why would he do that?
Oh my goodness.
No. Admittedly, though, you were eating cashew chicken at the time.
I was. And it was delicious. So
who's wrong there, really?
Oh my God. This is a complete heel turn. Can I tell you about my new favorite thing to eat?
First off, I don't think heel turn is the phrase you meant to use.
Yeah, like turn on your heel to about face.
All right, I'll allow
Not like wrestling terms, not become a heel.
Okay.
So my kid eats a lot of oatmeal. This is going somewhere. My kid eats a lot of oatmeal. Mm-hmm. And a couple nights ago, I was like, you know what I've never tried to do? Savory oatmeal. And then I went, you know, I wonder if you can make oatmeal in the rice cooker. Dude, savory oatmeal cooked in the rice cooker? Insane. It was so good. It was
none of that sounds good. What do you mean? How'd you savory it?
So, I did 1-to-1. So like 1 cup of oats to 1 cup of beef broth. And then, so I did 2 cups of oats and then 2 cups of beef broth. And then soy sauce. And then a little cube of frozen spinach and cooked it on the normal rice setting for 10 minutes. And it was so good. And then I put a runny egg on top. And there were leftovers, and I ate them today, and I was like, this is still so good.
Potentially, I guess it's good, but never once in my life have I ever said I want savory oatmeal. I'll have normal oatmeal. Mm-hmm. I'll even have it with fruit or honey or whatever, like cinnamon sugar, whatever. But like, I never said, man, I want my oats to taste like beef broth.
You should.
You
should say that.
I can't imagine what that would taste like.
They're so good. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes it hard. They don't smell like anything. They just smell like oats. So when I was cooking it, I was like, this smells like just oats. But then I tasted it. Bitch. So good. And when I reheated it today, I put chili oil on that shit. Shut up. It was so good.
Now, yeah, that sounds great. Or oatmeal raisin cookies, and that's the extent of it. And you just live your life.
That's so much more work, though.
No. It's so much better, though.
I don't want. If I want something savory,
it's not really
I don't
what
want
you
to
want.
eat an oatmeal cookie.
What I can tolerate, though. We're aware that you eat your oatmeal with hot sauce or whatever's going on over there.
Yeah.
But I'm more referring to me and oatmeal raisin cookies and how I really just want oatmeal raisin cookies now. That's what I'm thinking about. The entire time you were talking, I was like, yo.
I could get down with some oatmeal raisin cookies.
I could eat some oatmeal raisin cookies, though.
That's fair.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. It's why you just had oatmeal?
My kid eats much oatmeal.
What sparked you saying, I want oatmeal, but savory oatmeal?
A long time ago, I saw a video where somebody was like, sometimes I have savory oatmeal for dinner. And my kid occasionally will be like, oh my God, they call it porridge here. She was like, can I have some porridge for dinner? I was like, that's easy. Sure. And then I was like, oh, actually, we're all going to have porridge for dinner. And now and I think it's probably the best thing I've eaten in a couple weeks at least. I was so excited. It tasted amazing.
Part of me is like concerned for you when you say porridge is the best thing I've eaten in a couple weeks, because it has the connotation of like
slapped, dude.
Please, sir, may I have another?
And it looks like that. It looks like gruel. It looks like, yeah, it does.
It definitely has a vibe of you just like, well, we can either have porridge tonight or water soup.
Opens up pantry, a fly falls out. We have a singular bean that we can cut into 3, or we can have porridge. Yeah.
Why not cut the bean and put it in the porridge, Mama?
That would be wasteful.
No. Yeah, waste the bean.
We'll need the bean in the morning.
That's our Christmas dinner, it is.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Anyways, savory oatmeal. Any of you who aren't cowards, you should try it.
Damn.
I don't know.
Immediate call out.
Yeah.
I'll rather just stick to rice. I'm a big fan of just rice.
Do you like grits?
Love grits. Love grits.
I feel like it's similar enough to grits, this thing.
Here's the thing. I'm a big morning grits guy.
Yeah.
I love grits. I love the whole like butter, salt, pepper grit.
Yeah.
Right? The minute it's like 5 p.m. and someone tries to get me like shrimp and grits, I'm like, nah. Look, I love shrimp. I love grits. For some reason, shrimp and grits, I'm like, not really for me. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. I have no explanation. I love
in your
grits.
mind,
It's
there's
so
a time and place for grits.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe that's just like there's this place in LA that feels like a 1950s diner, and it is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they do like one of the best like breakfast ham things.
Okay.
Grits and then like eggs, and I'll just sit there and be like, oh shit, like it's just perfect. It is very like southern, like soul food vibes.
Sure.
Love it. Although it's one of those things you absolutely cannot do all the time, or else you got to wheelbarrow my ass around. When I'm done, I'm like, okay. Like the place is
back to bed with me.
Place?
Yeah.
At this place, so you can get instead of like toast or whatever, you can get a muffin. You can get a blueberry muffin, and what they do is they take the blueberry muffin, cut it in half, then put it on the flat top. So now you have like crusted blueberry. Oh my God. Game changer. So good.
There's a place in LA where they would make a sandwich, and instead of bacon, they would put crisped chicken skin on.
Ooh, I bet that's good.
Shut up. It was so good. And I think about that sandwich more often than I should, I think.
I know it's incredibly unhealthy. I honestly don't care. I love chicken skin. Love it. If I get chicken, I don't want fried chicken. I'm not a big fan of the fried.
Yeah.
But like the grilled, broasted, roasted, that like, oh my God. I just love it. I love it. I love it so much. Just it's a big fan. Big fan of, you know what? Shout out to chicken. You're delicious, you little bastards. I love you so much. So good. So good. Yeah.
My chickens have been escaping lately.
What now?
No, it's fine. We'll just let that sit.
No. What?
Saying my chickens have been escaping lately. Chickens are really good at escaping.
Them. I've been sneaking in. Yeah, you think it's a fox, but it's really just me. Yeah.
Interesting.
I sneak
you take them, you give them little fervent kisses, and then you put them back. That's really sweet of you.
Yeah. I kiss them with barbecue sauce. Yum, yum.
They haven't gone missing. They're just escaping. And then they sit outside of the fence like, oops, what have we done here? And then they sit there and wait for me to come outside. And then they do.
Cute.
Chickens do this little thing where they're like sitting up normally. And when you start to come over to them, if they're used to being picked up, they'll go. they'll like squat down and just sit there like, pick me up, please. So yeah, when they get past the fence and they realize they fucked up and there are a bunch of dogs and shit that are gonna like try and chomp them, and then they'll just sit next to the fence like, blend in, Keith. They'll never find us. And then I come and save them.
You have a chicken named Keith?
No, I should though.
You should now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that'd be a rooster.
And one of
you know what?
no,
Actually,
it doesn't.
that could be a hen. Yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Assuming that one of these baby chicks turns into a hen and we can keep her, I'll name her Keith.
Yeah.
In honor of this moment.
What a fool I am to tell a chicken what they can and cannot be named.
Right?
It's 2025. You can be Keith if you want to. Chicken, I don't care.
Keith if you want to, madam.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been playing this week, bud?
Oh, man. Yeah, no, it was all Final Fantasy for me this week.
And you said you like the raids?
Yeah, the new bit came out. The new patch 7.2 came out, and yeah, the time I got to stream, that's all I did. It's a ton of fun. The stuff that people are waiting for isn't out yet, which is, of course, the thing. I think it'll be April. They're releasing the first big, like, we're going to space and we're gonna make the moon habitable. So that's gonna be a whole thing. And then I guess May is the weird one that's like you go to a weird island and it's kind of like Eureka, if you remember that. So that's coming down the pipeline. But the new stuff, the new raids, they're so much fun. If people aren't aware, the new raid storyline is literally wrestling. It is, the raids are basically, you have entered the Arcadian, which is like the big arena, and each fight is a different wrestler.
Cute.
And yeah, the first 4 were like, there's a story, I won't spoil it for you because then you're going to play eventually, but like, yeah. You fight these different wrestlers, and in the new one, they go so into the wrestling jargon. They talk about baby faces and heels, and then there's a scene where the baby face and heel are actually friends, and they're hanging out playing with kittens.
I love that.
It's very cute, but the real thing that's fun about it is each fight is like, I don't know if they just said, F it, let's have fun. But for example, the very first fight of this new phase is a dance-off where the guy you're fighting against is like, he basically in this raid series, people will take on the soul of an animal, and that soul of the animal will like transform them, and then they'll do a thing, right? So, you know, in this one, it's dance. This guy has a soul of a frog for some damn reason. And his whole thing is in the background as it plays out. There's like the tiles glow and you have to move on the different tiles. There's literal frog men in the background with giant afros doing like this. And wherever their hands pointing, that's where you have to move the opposite of.
Okay,
and so
cute.
like shit's coming at you. It's literally a dance off and it's so much fun. And then all the music is like over the top. There's one, like the third fight of this series is literally like the most metal shit there ever was. The second fight, it's like a rap, like an actual, like it's super fun.
That sounds so cute. I love that.
Yeah. The raid series is definitely upstaging the story at the moment. The story's kind of like, we're doing a mystery told, like there's, they introduced a villain. They gave the villain its like their own theme. And I was like, this is fun, but not much happened except for, we'll see you after my plans come to fruition. And you're like, okay. Yeah. I would spoil what did happen, but I won't because I think you will enjoy it. But
I'll message you. Remind me. I'll message you after this to tell you where we're at in the story because I feel like we've progressed a lot since last time we talked about it.
I saw you online playing when you weren't streaming, so I definitely know that you're somewhere.
I sure am.
I saw you and I was like, oh, but yeah, I'm curious what you think of the overall story when you get through it, because it's definitely one of those things where it's like very like controversial, in that it's not the normal way they do things. It honestly, it feels a lot like the way WoW used to tell stories, where instead of it being like Final Fantasy will tell a story, end it, and then tell additional stories. This is like, we told a story and we're still telling the same story, which is a different vibe.
Yeah.
And I get why people don't like it, because it's the reason why I was like, I don't want to play WoW anymore. So, you know, I understand it. But yeah, it was a blast. And they also brought back my favorite character in any video game ever, the Corn Servant.
Okay.
Have you met the Corn Servant?
No.
Dodger, on stream, go find Corn Servant. The whole plot line of Corn Servant is he's a little tiny corn cob man. And his whole thing is he wants you to take him around and feed him to people. And he's like, I do the Antonio Banderas voice where he's like, the only thing I like to do more than feed myself to other people is tell them about corn. That's his whole thing. Is he goes around
Incredible.
and he just is like, please eat me. And he's like, there's someone nearby who is so very hungry. We must feed them the awesome power of corn. And you take him around, and the whole plot is he just goes, you feed him to people. And he's like, the people are like, oh, I'm so hungry. And they're like, here, eat me. But the thing is, only you can see the Corn Servant. So I think really it's just you giving them corn, but it's hilarious. It's so much fun. Best thing in the game. Best character in the history of video games. I love the Corn Servant.
This is reminding me of, there's an episode of Total Dramarama where the kids in the show somehow make a sentient pizza, and all the pizza wants in the whole world is to be eaten, but the kids have become too attached and are like, but we love you, pizza. We can't eat you. And it becomes like this weird, horrific episode where this pizza is desperately trying to get someone to eat him. And finally, someone eats him by accident. Like they're like camp counselor or whatever. It's just like, oh, pizza, and just eats him. And the kids are freaking out. And then the pizza's ghost comes out to be like, you finally gave me what I needed. Thank you so much, friends. Goodbye. And just vanishes. And I was like, what the fuck was this episode? That was so crazy.
That is, I must stress to you, that is the exact same vibe. The exact same vibe. I don't want to spoil the most recent quest line from that character.
Yeah.
But anyone who's played it, if you're in chat, you know what I mean. There's a turn that happens and you're like, what? It's so weird.
There's like a
It's
desperation.
So like, it's not even from him. Like, another thing happens that is so insane. You're just like, this is what I'm here for. This is why I play video games. This is so silly. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be, but like, I love this. Yeah. So that's what I did this entire week, was just go through that. And I had a blast. The new dungeon is super fun. It's very Final Fantasy IX coded.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything for that, but if you like Final Fantasy IX, it is like all this expansion is Final Fantasy IX. Everything in it, I'm like, oh, that's Kuja. Oh, that's Garnet. Oh, Steiner. Yeah.
Right.
Except their names are like Otis. You're like, okay, Steiner, I see through you. Yeah.
Cute. If it makes you feel better, I mostly just played Warframe this week. So
I'm aware. I saw you message me at 6 a.m. today and say, Jesse, I'm going to be late for the show because I have to go pick up my kid. And I thought, oh, she's going to be gone. And I went onto your stream and you were playing Warframe at 7:30. And I was like, what are you aren't doing anything. You're playing Warframe.
because I was about to leave to get my kid. I messaged too early. No, I went like really hard on the story. And I sort of like jump scared myself because now when I look at the story quests, I only have like 3 left to do. And I'm like, I'm almost caught up, which is very alarming. But I've reached this weird point where like they've streamlined the story quests so much. I've barely had to do any grinding, which has been great. There's a machine called the Necromech or whatever it's called that you used to have to build. You had to like farm all of the materials for it and build it. And they just give one to you now for the quest that you need it for, right? Like they've really taken a lot of the like grimy stuff out of it so that you can just play the story. So I did. So I just went really hard on the story. And I've gotten to the point now where like I'll open up an area or like meet a person who can give me, you know, like side quests and things. And when I go to look at what they have, it'll be like stuff that I am not even anywhere near able to do. Because clearly a lot of the people that got to this point had been, you know, a lot of them had played long enough that they're like, mastery rank, who the fuck knows, right? And I'm mastery rank 6. And there's a quest line that I just did where I was like, ooh, and they have like bounties, like things that I could do. Let me talk to them and see, or like what I can buy or what bounties I can do. And the bounties are level like 200 to 400 when I can comfortably do like 30 to 40, right? Or like maybe 60 on a really good day. And then I was like, oh, I'll buy some stuff from this guy. And everything he had, you had to be at least mastery rank 14. I was like, all right. Okay, no, it's fine. I'll come back. Clearly, I'm not supposed to actually be doing stuff here yet.
Right.
So I do find that interesting. They don't want to like stopgap you. Like they don't want to create a situation where you can't progress in the story stuff if you're really enjoying it. Clearly, they want the opposite because they've taken a lot of the stuff out that would keep you from progressing. But it's very funny to me that you want to, if you want to engage with those characters more or like, build up that area, you can't yet. Like I have to kind of backtrack. So what I wound up starting to do today is I realized they have basically like Beast Tribe quests in Warframe, except it's like different factions and things on different planets. So you can build up with different groups of people, different places, and like unlock story with them and whatever else. And you do that through bounties and like engaging with the NPCs in those areas in whatever way. Like you can do fishing and whatever, right? And I realized that I basically hadn't ranked up with anyone. So I was like, okay, well, that would be a really easy way for me to start getting to the point where I could go back to these other areas and do stuff, right? Yeah. And it's essentially been just like how I feel when I go to try to do Beast Tribe stuff now in 14, where I go, man, if I had started doing this a while ago, probably would have been a good idea. But instead, I gotta go hang out in Fortuna, which, to be fair, is one of my favorite areas. But I'm like, all right, well, I can just do this mission like 5 times in a row, and then that's as much ranking up as I'm allowed to do for the day. And then I guess I go to a different place, which is literally what I did today. So
it reminds me of when I played Destiny 2. I started playing Destiny 2 at launch, got to max level, and was like, all right, got a few like extra bonuses, felt like a cool dude, quit for a while. And then they were like, hey, some cool stuff is coming. I was like, yeah, I'll jump back in. I'll play some more. But so much had happened and they created so much content and then removed a lot of the content. I was so far behind. I had no clue what was going on. I was like, everyone was like, yeah, I'm like item level 8 million. And I'm like, brother, what? I felt like I couldn't do anything. But then they gave you a bunch of stuff to like catch up. But even then I was like, I still feel behind. Like, I just don't feel like I'm caught up. And they were like, yeah, we're going to give you a bunch of cool ways to do that. But it was like somehow so convoluted that it overwhelmed me. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Delete. And I just never went back and played it. It was just too much.
Yeah. I think something that is in the way for me is I basically do everything solo. And a lot of these bounties, you can tell there'll be like parts of the bounties that are like, all right, you got to go capture these caches, right? There are these cases that are going to drop down and you have to like stand next to them and keep too many enemies from getting near. Otherwise you'll lose it, right? It's just like a point sort of thing. And there will be like 4 cases that all fall and you're by yourself and you're like, what the shit? And then the NPC that gave you the quest, Utico, will hop on and be like, hey buddy, they're taking all the cases. What the fuck's going on? And you're like, I'm only a man. I'm just one guy, dude. You know? But you can tell like all of this stuff is so much easier if you're not one guy, you know? So I do think that there's value, especially when streaming it. I think there's value in sort of exploring how much you can do on your own and how easy it is to play by yourself, because I've done a lot of it solo. But it is clear when there are things where you go, this would be so much faster with a group. This would be so much faster with a group. So
yeah, it's that weird balance of playing things online that require the MMO, right? Multiple people versus just wanting to do it by yourself. And obviously the game has to cater to both. Like all games have this problem.
Yes.
And there are some people that just don't want to play with other people at that moment. And so what content do they have? Well, they can do things that multiple people could do, but is it the same experience? Probably not. And so you have to sort of balance it out. And I've always said this before, be it, MMORPG, be it whatever. I do not envy the people who have to develop those games.
No,
because
balance things. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not just balancing single and multiple player, you're balancing the people who go way too hard, and they'll complain the hardest if there's nothing for them to do. So now you're creating a bunch of end game content, but now there's stuff. If I'm like a casual player, I got nothing going for me. So you just have to there's no winning really, and it sucks, but that's just the way it is.
To be perfectly honest, and Cards on the Table, they have sponsored me a couple of times, but like I've had a really great time playing Warframe solo. So I do think it's really fun, even if you have nobody to play with.
Sure.
And the issue, I think, is that it's also kind of a wiki game. It's one of those games where you're like, I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what I need to do for this. I need to get this item. Can I just buy it somewhere? I have no idea. Who do I even buy it from? Right? Like, there's a lot of stuff where you kind of feel like, I want to find this information in here, but there's so much to claw through that I might as well Google it, Right. And one of the things that I think is like common knowledge, but not the specifics of it, is there's so many Warframes that some frames are going to be better for solo play. There's going to be some frames that you can pursue and try to build that are going to make it so that you do great by yourself. Maybe you're even better by yourself, But what frame is that? How do you build it? What do you need to unlock before you can do that? So, yeah, that sort of stuff is not clear. Fortunately,
and I bet it's not
the
helpful
community
to come into
puts
it late.
that information together, but yes.
Like there was, I'm sure if you were from the beginning and you were there every time they introduced a new thing, you would understand what that thing was because you did it in order and you had to build, like you built on the knowledge you previously had. You jumped in late in the game and there's probably so much crap that is maybe even not even useful anymore that is just there. And now you have to parse what is something you need out of the ridiculous amount of stuff that is available to you. I think that's the problem with anyone coming to any sort of MMO late.
Yeah.
Is you're coming into a lot of information and you have none, so you have to figure out what the hell to do. And it isn't like an MMORPG thing, it's just all MMOs. Like even if you're playing a MOBA, like if you jump into League, for example, there's so many different items and totems and characters. You have no clue what the hell you're supposed to pick or choose. You just kind of go with your gut feeling, and then you'll always have people who be like, nah, shit, you're terrible at this. What are you doing? It's like, dude, it's my first day. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I've reached the point where like I've enjoyed it enough that knowing I only have a couple of story quests left to do, I'm now avoiding doing them, So I'm doing other shit because I'm like, oh, I kind of don't want everything to, I don't want to be caught up really. That feels weird, So
yeah, it always feels like there's a little bit more to do and you want to keep going back rather than I did it all. What's my motivation to keep playing?
Yes. I want to have a thing to look forward to still. And there's a bunch of side stuff that I haven't done, but yeah, of the like major story stuff that I'm invested in and still deeply confused by, I'm like, I'm just going to leave that over there for now and enjoy doing other stuff, There's another game that I played that was only like an hour long, called Spilled. I played the demo of this.
build.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a very simple game. I got all of the achievements. It does not take very much time. But basically you're in a little boat.
This is a very Dodger game. This is cute.
It's very cute. You are in a trapped little area of a river or something. And it's overrun with oil. And you are a ship that's specifically built to soak up oil from the water. And so you do one area, you soak up all the oil, and then a drawbridge sort of thing, not a drawbridge, but a thing opens up so you can go into a new area and clean that. It adds a new mechanic with each area, a new thing that you need to look for or clean up or fix. And it's very cute. And you just have this satisfying chill time of oh, the water's looking nicer. Oh, I can see fish now. It's just cute. It's a cute game. Very short.
You just reminded me, I did play another game this week.
What?
So Scary Game Squad. This will be a while because this game took a long time to beat.
Yeah.
But and so I have to edit it all. But we played a game called Tormenture.
Oh yeah.
Tormenture is a game where you are a kid playing a early 80s, late 70s console, and it is a old school video game that may be haunted. And so as you play the game, your room changes. There's weird stuff to do in your room. You can get a black light and look at cool stuff. You can play tapes in reverse. You're solving puzzles in your room. At the same time, you're playing this game that feels like a real ass game that is the heart of it. So you have to navigate all this stuff. It's brilliant. It's I don't know that I would call it scary. There's a few scares in it, but the vast majority of the game is trying to navigate the world they have for you. And there's boss fights and there's little characters you meet. They're all very bizarre, and you have to solve their problems and help them out. And they don't give you any information. They'll tell you, there's this one guy, his head is a hammer, and he's like, "This is my job," or whatever he says. And so you have to be okay, I need to figure out how to get something to him so that he can make me a sword so I can start killing guys. Otherwise, I'm totally screwed and I have to keep avoiding enemies. There's mazes and puzzles, and also the game is very, very fun. We made a terrible mistake where we thought we could play it on keyboard and mouse, which you can. And when you're in the third person or a first person view, when you're in your room, plays really well that way. But when you play the game, doing the arrow keys to move, I did not realize I was hampering our boy Davis that badly.
Right.
We got to a boss fight and I was like, why don't we try the controller? It was so much easier. I was like, oh no. Oh boy. So that was cute, but absolutely incredible game. It is kind of long though.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Longer than you expected, apparently.
Yeah, I think because we wanted to solve things. You don't need to, but it's very clear. So imagine you have a game and it's this old crappy video game and you have the instruction guide. It's not your instruction guide. You just got it when you bought the copy. And in it has, it's like one of those cursed Reddit video game post things, right?
Yeah.
And when you open the booklet in the back, obviously the booklet, it has all the information of the game, which is very helpful. But in the back, it has the previous person's notes. And there are things in it like, don't trust the frog, and weird symbols that point at different things. You're like, okay, this means something. And they all mean something. And it all pays off. But at the beginning, you're like, what the hell does any of this mean?
Right.
And so now you're going through that and trying to figure out the puzzle. And so you know us, we're just like, all right, we have to figure this. Especially me. I'm like, I gotta know what this is.
Yeah.
How does this work? What is that? You're in your room. In your room, there's locked doors you can't get into. There's a weird chest. Like, how do I get into that? There's old school games. So one of them is Guess Who. It's not called Guess Who, but it's clearly related to something in the game. You have to figure out which faces. So you're doing multiple puzzles all at the same time while the game is out to get you. So it's pretty interesting. I highly recommend it for people. You're not going to be jump scared by a lot of stuff. But it is weird. It's super creepy. but it's mostly puzzles and trying to figure stuff out and solve what the hell the game's doing while playing a game that feels like it's from the early 80s.
Gotcha.
It's pretty cool.
That sounds
I very
cool,
much love
yeah.
that game. Yeah.
So it's going to be a while before it comes out, though, because it wound up being a lot of footage.
A lot of footage. It's a lot. We spent a lot of... There's also a lot of time where we'll like walk back and forth like 50. So there is a thing in the game where if you find hidden rooms, you end up in a first-person view in-game trying to find a candle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very cool concept. It's neat. But because the rooms are hidden, you have to look for things that you're like, what is that? Is that a hidden room? And so you're spending a lot of time walking into walls trying to find hidden rooms.
Right.
Or you're like going through the same area 5 times trying to find where the hidden room is. And so, yeah, it's a whole ass thing is what it is. So I'll have to go through and edit because I know people are going to be like, you guys spent 25 minutes walking in circles. Well, yeah, but we did find the room. So,
yeah. Shout out to back in the day when I was doing cut up Let's Plays on YouTube. And people kept saying that they wanted to see it all. And I had an entire episode of Sherlock Holmes that was just me walking in circles. And people were like, you didn't even do anything in this episode. I was like, you're welcome.
Yeah. You wanted it.
Just for you.
Yeah.
Amazing. What do we got for news, buddy? I know you said you were doing some goofs.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you watched the Nintendo Direct this past week, you know that we got a lot of interesting news. But more importantly, one of the funniest things is that Nintendo has an app now where they're specifically just going to give you news on that app. And in my opinion, it absolutely is them saying we're never going to be on social media again. Just we're not going to be there. Honestly, I dig it.
Don't blame them. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that they just recently announced on this app is the Legend of Zelda movie is filming right now, and it will come out March 26th, 2027, produced by Miyamoto and Avi Arad, who worries me a great deal because that gentleman has produced such great movies as Morbius, Venom, Kraven, all the movies that you're like, ugh, the Ghost in the Shell movie. He did make Blade and Into the Spider-Verse, but he paid money for it. But
he was involved.
Yeah, but if you go look up most of his movies, they're not terrific films.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. We'll see what that's going to be. We don't know anything about the cast. We know nothing else except the movie it's happening. But if I have my druthers, we're going to get excuse me, princess. I want that so badly.
Just once.
One time. That's all I want. So we'll see what happens there.
Is it live action? Did you say?
Oh, it's gonna be live action. At least as far as I'm aware, they've not said it's animated. That's for sure. So we'll see. Speaking of live action, I don't know why this is a thing. And I definitely just want to send you this image.
Okay.
I don't know if we can put it on the show, but this is... Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do you like Minecraft? Of course you do. You'd be a fool if you don't. How do you feel about Minecraft McFlurries at McDonald's?
What?
It absolutely does not look appetizing at all. At all.
I straight up thought that was ice cream with green onions on it.
It looks like ice cream with green onions. Yes. It looks like cut up green onions on ice cream. It does not look good at all. I have no idea what flavor it is. I guess I could find out. But McDonald's, if you have the McDonald's app, apparently it's apple cake McFlurry.
Okay.
And it is this is what
Green
it is,
apple,
according to
clearly.
the press release. The apple cake McFlurry consists of soft dairy ice cream swirled with apple and shortcake pieces, finished with a sour applesauce.
Okay.
So that's a thing. Welcome to gaming meets food.
We did
So
it.
there you go. Enjoy.
We've made it,
Enjoy
everybody.
Yep.
They should have
Also,
just
hey,
gone full green. Why didn't they just go
Really?
full green, dude? Just
Honest
make
to
it all
God,
green.
the ice cream. No offense to them. I feel like they don't understand. The ice cream should have been green.
Yeah.
The little squares should have been brown, like
dirt blocks.
brownies. Yeah, like little blocks, like little brownie blocks.
Yeah.
And you just make the ice cream look green. It doesn't have to taste green. And it's just brownies and ice cream.
Oh my God.
It's so much easier.
No, that wouldn't make any sense. I would still like it though. Green ice cream and then a brownie on top, and you break through the brownie to get to the green ice cream. I'd love that.
That's very cute. Mm-hmm. I love that. I don't think they could possibly make that in a McDonald's when their ice cream machine barely works ever. So
when every time you go to a McDonald's, there's like a piece of paper that says, our ice cream machine is currently broken.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Ubisoft, our good friends over at Ubisoft.
Yep. Our good
They are
somethings.
partnering, like I said before, with Tencent. Now we know in what way. From now on, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six are going to be part. I'm going to read you the press release.
Okay.
I don't even understand. It seems like jargon and is just the worst. All right. Here is the quote. With the creation of a dedicated subsidiary that will spearhead developments for 3 of our largest franchises and the onboarding of Tencent as a minority investor, we are crystallizing the value of our assets, strengthening our balance sheet, and creating the best conditions for these franchises' long-term growth and success. With its dedicated and autonomous leadership team, we will focus on transforming these 3 brands into unique ecosystems. So that seems good.
What does that mean?
That seems great. What does that mean? That's corpo speak for bullshit. That's corpo speak for we need 10 cents money, and we're going to lie to you about why we need 10 cents money because we are not doing great. This is what that means.
All right. So
that's great. I'm glad they're taking those games. Also, even though I don't think it matters particularly that much, but it is interesting, I read over on Video Game Chronicle, which, by the way, best video game site out there for news, just the best. I read over there that they were saying that in the UK, again, I'm not sure how much this affects the world, but in the UK, Assassin's Creed outsold Star Wars Outlaws by like a lot.
Really?
And if that's any indication, I mean, Assassin's Creed seems to be doing pretty well right now. For as many people on the internet telling you not to play it, but like, seems pretty cool. But yeah, apparently it's doing much, much better than Star Wars. And it makes me wonder about Star Wars in general, because no offense to Star Wars as a fan.
Sure.
I definitely feel like Disney absolutely saturated the market.
Yes. Like, I was going to say, it's not that people don't love Star Wars anymore. It's that they are kind of sick of it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and as a person who played Outlaws and wanted it to be good, I got like 3 or 4 hours in before I was like, I hate this game. I've been told everything I hated, they fixed and changed, which is great. But look, my job as a streamer, I got to keep moving. I can't just go back and play another game when 50 other games are coming out.
Sure.
If you don't get me, you ain't going to get me. That's just life. So while I hear Star Wars Outlaws is awesome, and I'm glad people are enjoying it, I might go back in like 10 years. But like, I don't have the time right now. Yeah. So it sucks to suck, but here we are.
Yeah.
Another weird thing that I think, when I use the word suck, it's because I don't necessarily understand it, but I think, let me preface this, I don't understand it because it doesn't, I think, relate to me.
Okay.
But Nintendo, during their show they did on Wednesday.
Yeah, their thing.
During the Direct.
Yeah.
They revealed Switch and Switch 2 digital games with virtual game cards, which, if you watch the stream, was incredibly confusing. Because basically it was like, yeah, it's like downloading the game, but not because you have a card, but it is, you're downloading the card, but now you keep the card, and then you can share your game card, which is like a physical card, but not physical, with other people. They explained it so poorly.
It's like having a floppy drive that you download.
Except you don't, because it's digital. Exactly.
So that's it's not a thing. It's not an actual thing.
It is. Imagine taking a real game cartridge.
Yeah.
Making it digital, which they've already done.
Right.
But now saying it's a game cartridge that you can share with other people in your family circle. I understand what the concept is after thinking about it, that it's like if you have kids and you want to buy a game, you bought the game, but now you can share it with your kids and they can play. And I completely understand it. I get it. I know what it's supposed to be. But it's the most convoluted thing I've ever heard in my life. The way they described it is insane. But I get it. I get what it is. It's you're sharing the license of the game with other people in your family circle or your friend circle if you pretend that you're your family in order to do this. But like, I understand. But you only can share it for 14 days. So I share it to you, you have 14 days, and it comes back to me. Okay. So that kid better beat that damn game in 14 days. But then also...
You can't just share it to whoever you want for 14 days?
As long as they're in your family circle.
Oh, that's stupid. Either make it forever, or if it's a limited time thing, just share it with whoever. Then... Oh, don't worry. Then... My thought was, if, let's say, a new Mario game comes out, for example, you have two kids, and both kids want to play the Mario game at the same time, they cannot. You can lend out one cartridge to one person at a time. Okay. But if I have two kids and both want to play the same game, tough shit, I guess. I do not understand. It definitely, to me, I get the implication. I get it's for share. Like, I get what they're trying to do. But to me, it seems like another gatekeeping thing Nintendo always does to prevent people from, like, I don't like enjoying shit. They always do this. They always do like the most backwards nonsense. Classic Nintendo. It is so confusing. And the way they tried to describe it, I see in chat, buy another copy. Well, I mean, that's what you would do normally, but they're saying you don't have to do that anymore, even though technically I think you still have to. Yeah.
And again, it's like you're already downloading the games if you're getting them digitally. This is just another step. And I don't necessarily understand it, but again, it's not for me, clearly. This is for people who want to, like, if you have a kid and you're trying to share it, you have friends, and you want to lend it out so they can play it or whatever, like, clearly that's it. But it doesn't, I spent so much time trying to figure out exactly what the hell this thing is supposed to be. But it allows you to lend the games to others wirelessly. My question would be, why wouldn't I just lend them the physical copy then? Are they trying to phase out physical games entirely?
I guess like, yeah, I don't know.
Because literally the video they showed was like, the physical game, you put it in all your, your Nintendo consoles. Well, what if you didn't have one of those? I'm like, oh, so you mean like digital download? Like, no. It's a cartridge, but it's digital. Like, so a digital download. No. It's a cartridge, but digital. And you're like, what the shit? I have no clue what the intention is there. I don't know why, but during the stream, my initial thought was, it's Nintendo doing what Nintendo does. They have never once cared what anyone thought. They're going to do their own thing all the time. And you just have to accept it. Nintendo will be like, this is what we're doing. Deal with it.
It feels like, I don't know if Kindle still does this, but Kindle, I think, had or has a system where it's like you buy a book, and if you want to lend that book to a friend digitally, you can. Mm-hmm. You can like send it to them, right? I think, honestly, the biggest issue with this is the pitch, right? The way that they're choosing to talk about it is making it more convoluted than it needs to be.
Absolutely.
And really what it is like, you can digitally lend a game to someone for 14 days, right? And if they want to play more of it, then you have to buy it. It's like just...
No, you can just re-lend it to them.
Somebody said they can't. Can you?
Are you sure? I thought you could lend it to them. They send it back to you, and then you can re-lend it to them. I thought that's what I got. Now, again, that's how insane the thing was. It was so convoluted. I didn't know what the hell was going on. So if you're telling you can only have 14 days total... I thought it was 14 days and it comes back to you, then you can relend it.
See, here's my thing, right? Is like, if I'm playing a game and my kid is looking over my shoulder and is like, hey, I'd love to play that game, then yeah, I'll just hand them the game if we have a cartridge, right?
Right.
This lending thing makes more sense between friends, I think, not within your family circle, quote, end quote.
Yeah.
I think it makes way more sense to be like, you can now lend this game to a friend. And then if they want to buy the game after, that's their business, right? But
yeah, the thing is
I don't know.
you can only lend it to people in your approved, like you have to have created your family circle.
Right.
And then only people in that family circle can be lent the game. And so it's just another step. There's clearly some marketing reason for this.
Sure.
Clearly some back end thing that Nintendo sees value in doing this. And there are a lot of people who speculate this is about them absolutely destroying the resale market. So you have to keep buying new stuff.
Right.
But I want to hope that's not the case and they're not absolutely diabolical about this. But it does seem insane and very convoluted.
Yeah.
However, every time I've said the Nintendo thing they're doing right now seems really stupid, a year later I'm like, obviously they knew what they were doing because everyone loves it. So, you know what I mean? Every time. I thought Switch was a stupid idea, and it's one of the most played consoles. I love a Switch. I love my Switch. So, like, what the hell do I know? Maybe I'm way off course. I just don't know. So, we'll see. But it definitely seems really weird. But I guess, basically, the idea is I don't need to own the game, and I don't have to hand you my cartridge or whatever, because you will have your own save game. You'll have your own thing. It's very weird. I don't understand it. But hopefully in the comments someone will tell me what I'm doing wrong and why I don't understand it. Apparently on the Switch 2 there is there's a mystery C button.
Okay.
It's an extra button on the Joy-Con described as the C button in various leaks, and people are showing renders of it now. And no one particularly knows what C means. If you look at the Switch 2, so you know how on the Joy-Cons on the side, you have the buttons that are like the home button, and you have the one button that I never really know what that does. Underneath the home button is now a C button. And I don't know if that means connect, or if that means like, I don't know. I have no answers for you. But apparently we're going to get a Nintendo Switch 2 thing happening here. And maybe people think it means capture. Like capturing footage. I do not know. Could not tell you. But apparently on April 2nd, we're getting a Switch 2 Direct. And so we'll have answers there. Which a lot of Nintendo news lately. So that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. I have to run away in like 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, then I'll just say, hey, everyone. Assassin's Creed came out this week. Also this week, we got the really cool looking Karma, the Dark World. It's like 1984-ish. You're in the minds of people horror game. It's so cool. I must stress, go check it out. It's really cool looking. I think it takes like 6 hours-ish to beat, but like, ooh, it's awesome. Definitely check it out. And hey, good news for fans. For those of you out there who like being hopeless, this week, a minor update occurred on the Steam page for Silksong, and it got people losing their minds.
Yeah.
I don't know that it means anything, but everyone was like, it's coming! So, that's where we're at right now.
Gamer.
And that's the news.
Fantastic. Sorry, my kiddo has a performance that I'm going to, and I just noticed the time.
Performance of what? What is she performing?
She's doing a theater thing.
Right, but like what theater
I'm not
thing?
telling you because I don't want people to find her.
Oh, I guess that's right. I guess people are crazy like that. I just want to know if it was like, I just want to know if it was like,
I'll tell you
Shakespeare.
I'll tell you
or,
behind the scenes. Yeah.
All right. Or if it was like, I'm a Christmas tree. Like, that's fun, you know.
That would be wild to do in the middle of spring. That would be so avant-garde.
12 Angry Men. That'd be amazing. A bunch of kids doing that would be so funny.
It would be incredible. Jesse, what have you got going on this week?
Boy, oh boy. Monday. Former guest on this very show, big Warhammer 40k guy, Bricky, and I are talking Warhammer 40k on Tell Me About.
Neat.
It is going to be a treat. So hopefully you all enjoy that and tune in. It'll be a blast. It's over 2 hours long. It might be the longest one I'll ever do we talked about a lot. I had a lot of questions, so hopefully you'll enjoy.
Fantastic. You can find him at youtube.com/Jesse Cox and Jesse Cox on pretty much everything else. And all of the VODs for Geekenders are also on youtube.com/Jesse Cox or podcasty things. I'm going to America for a couple of weeks. So my last stream is going to be on Sunday. I'm going to be trying to do a couple little streams here and there while I'm gone, but overall I'm going to be spending time with family. So hold down the fort for me, pour one out for me. I think we're going to still try to do Geekenders while I'm gone as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you've had an amazing week. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next time. So
Bye.
long.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.